So, I just want to show you guys this concept, and this is a multi-floor bubble elevator in 1.13, and yeah, so as you can see, we're on floor 1 now. If I select floor 2, what just happened there? Right, so something's broken. Right, let's select floor 2. Right, okay. Right, I'll just have to see where this is breaking and I'll be back. Right, I've figured that one out. There was a redstone block that was, it was that redstone block there was in the wrong place. It hadn't been spat out, so I just had to move that. But now, as we see, we've selected floor number 2, and it brings us up to floor number 2. Now if I select 1 down here, this will reset all of these lines here so that I can go all the way down, so that all these pistons, the ones that are, and you know, if I go down, if I choose to go up to 3, I can do so. It extends this piston up here, and then if I want to go down to 2, this piston down here extends, so I can just walk straight out at floor 2. If I want to go up to 4, it resets all of them so that I can just go all the way up. And then if I want to go down to 3, I can just drop down and be on floor 3. Then this will just reset all of these. And this, you know, floor 4 here will reset all of these. So yeah, right, how this works is, hang on, just wait a second. If it is viable in survival mode. Right, here we are in survival mode. I can come all the way up to the top, and I can drop down without taking any damage. This here is quite an old trick, really. This with the water there, and yeah. So if we switch back into creative, I can show you how this works. So this, the bottom one here is just really what you'd expect, what you'd have at the bottom of a non-redstone activated water elevator, and so is the top. And just with this bit here, we'll come to the buttons in a bit. The middle, the two in the middle, however, have this piston. I'll show you on this one here. Has on the going up part of it, it has a piston here, which extends to stop you when just above the entrance and exit part of it, and then in with that it has a water source there and a water source there, so that it can that replenishes the water source, so that the bubble elevator still works. Then here we have down below the down below the level with the floor, we have a piston here on the downwards going chute, so that extends to stop you from falling further. And these pistons, once you extend them, they extend until they stay extended until you extend until you press another button for another floor. So for example, here I have on floor number 3, we have this here. This circuit here, obviously, when you get a short pulse into this makes it last forever. And the pulse here comes in from this block here, from this observer here, which is detecting this leaf, and this uses the new leaf wire technique. So this brings a redstone line all the way up from this redstone here, all the way up into this circuit here that keeps the piston extended indefinitely until you press another button. And that's connected to this here, which of course has a repeater here because that goes into a reset circuit. And we have and then it's controlled by this button labeled 3 here. So whenever you press that button, the piston just above floor number 3 will extend indefinitely. However, when I then press the button for number 2, it will of course sends a pulse through through this redstone torch here, into the back area here. And two things happen. First of all, this this leaf wire here activates to, and that comes up to extend piston number 2 here indefinitely. And another thing happens. It comes up here and joins into the wire for number 4 here and activates this leaf wire, which goes up to floor number 3 and reset and pulls this redstone block out of the way, de-extending this piston, which gets rid of this, which unpowers all of this, pulling this piston back. And then, of course, when the button unpresses, 1 second later, 10 redstone ticks, 20 game ticks, 10 redstone ticks later, this piston will then spit the redstone block out again, re-extending this, so that next time I press the button for number 3, it will then extend again. And the button for number 4 here runs into this redstone line up here, which comes here and it splits into these 2 lines here. One of those lines comes up here and resets floor 3 so that there's no obstructions there, and the other one here comes up this line here to reset number 2. And on the down sequence it's the same thing. I press number 1, it gives me through these 2 redstone torches here, and this redstone wire doesn't power this piston, which is quite good for compactness. Because I'll explain what this piston's doing is it's bringing up, say, if I press on number 3, if I press the button for number 2, it comes up this wire here and down and and down through here, and powers this here, so that it's as if I press the number 2 button here, because yeah, they do exactly the same thing. So rather than wiring them up separately, I just bought this one up here to do that. And yeah, so presses this, and yeah, it presses this wire up here, which comes down this way, down here, and is a reset for number 2 on the down sequence. And it also powers this redstone line here, which, as this piston here, goes into that leaf wire down here, which goes down to here and round, and is a reset for number 3 on the down. Yeah. And so yeah, then so basically this this redstone bit up here is the circuitry that determines everything that happens down here when you press any button on any of the floors that's a going down button. And down at the bottom here, this redstone bit here is all the circuitry that determines the pistons on this column. So basically, if I'm on an intermediate floor, say I'm on floor number 3, I want to go down to floor number 2. It comes through here and it powers this piston here, which will then come into this leaf wire here and up, round, over and down onto here, so that it's just as if I pressed the 2 here, and that will unextend the one at number 3 and extend the one at number 2. Now say I'm at number 2, I want to go up to floor number 3. Through this here, yeah, and this one's on top here because I'd already built this leaf wire that goes up to power. What's this? Yeah, the power the reset at number 3. So I press the number 3 button here. Comes across down into this leaf wire here, spits out this redstone block and simulates what a button press of this number 3 button here would have done. And that then does 2 things. Of course, it powers this piston into this leaf wire here, and that goes up right next to the button that we pressed. As you can see here, it goes right next to the button we pressed. Then it goes up into here, powering this indefinitely up here. And the other thing it does, of course, is comes round. Yeah, this is it. It comes round here, comes up and resets number 2. So basically, whenever you press a button, if it's an up button, it will only actually affect the upbound column, and if it's a down button, it will only affect the downbound column. So if you got this upbound column here and you press an up button, which there are none up there, by the way, and it will basically, on the up column, it'll extend the piston at the place that you want to go to, and unextend all other pistons. So you can add many more floors into this. And then another thing that it'll do is, if you press a down button, it will extend the piston on the down column that's at the place that you want to go to, and it will unextend all of the pistons on the down column. So yeah, which is entirely reliable, and yeah, can be built in survival, can be used in survival. Of course, I've got it here in my test world, but if I were to build this on Minecraft with NBC Trader 03, my Let's Play series, if I were to build that on this, on my survival world, it would be, as my base is inside a mountain by the sea, I would probably have, this would obviously be in the middle of the mountain. It wouldn't be, all in glass like this or anything. It'd just be straight up the mountain, through the mountain. And I'd say, floor 1 here might be like mines. Yeah, floor 1 down here could be, well no, my mines are another place, so, and I already have a railway to that. So floor 1 could probably be a boat dock. Floor 2 would probably be a land entrance. Floor 3 would be the base itself, and I could possibly have a floor 4, which would be the exit out the top, which would exit out the top of the mountain. Which this thing's quite useful. Of course, it can be compacted. The floors can be as far apart or as close together as you want. Just if you got them close together, you would probably have to bring the redstone out, quite a bit further behind. So I chose 8 blocks to show this design. Purely for the showing of this design, I chose 8 blocks because I thought if I choose 8 blocks, I can fit the redstone in quite easily. Of course, this can be compacted quite a lot. Although in places, such as this area here, it is very compact. Because we've got 3 separate wires all touching each other here, but the leaves themselves aren't touching. Because if you touch the leaves together, it will transmit as if it's one wire, and they will interconnect. But we've got the wood log extending into the piston here, and that's fine. Those don't interact there. We've got the observer with the piston to the side of it here, and those don't interact either. And then we've got the redstone torch here next to the leaves, and they don't interact either. So, the leaf wire stuff's quite useful in building this. Of course, another way to transmit the signals upwards would be to use a bubble column and interrupt it at various points. Which, of course, if I were to say select floor 3 here, of course this bubble column's now interrupted, so the point above. Right, yeah, if I were to use a lever at this point, rather than, so there we go, just switch it on like that, then it'll stay extended, obviously, and you can see that we've got this bubble column here is, it's no longer a bubble column above this bit because there's a block of glass there in the way. And that's quite useful, actually, because if you put an observer here, if you were to put an observer observing this bubble column here, it would see that, you know, that's not a bubble column anymore, and it'd give an output from that, which would be useful, you know, just to have another bubble column beside it, which transmits signals upwards. Yeah, and that's something that could be more compact than the leaf wires, probably. But you'd still have to use leaf wires to go downwards. So yeah, that's all I got for this. Design's it's going to be quite useful. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked this design. If you did, there we go, let's just reset that. You know, get ourselves a button. And if you like this design, like the video, don't forget to like the video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one whenever I make it. Thank you for watching.